Joined obviously by head coach Craig Skinner, entering his 17th season, junior middle blocker Azhani Tealer to his left, camera right, and then Alli, Stumler, senior outside hitter to his right, camera left. We're going to begin with an opening statement from Coach Skinner. He will talk about the season and this weekend's matches up in Dayton, and then we'll open it up to questions. You can ask questions to the coach or the player from the beginning. So Coach, we'll go ahead and throw it open to you first.
Well, thanks, guys. Just want to make sure I open with the proverbial first statement of every coach beginning season. I'm excited. Got a great team. We're 0-0 right now. So, no, I'm just looking forward to the season. You get to coach people like Z and Alli and the rest of the returning people we have. It's, you look forward to being in practice every day. Obviously, have a tough season ahead of us. A lot of expectations. All those things. I am really excited about the coverage that we have. 11 matches on national TV this year, including some of the away matches that we have. I think this year, more so than any volleyball season I've ever seen, there's going to be more parity in our conference, in the other major conference around the country. And even you look at Western Kentucky, who we just played an exhibition, has everybody back. You look at Texas State, Dayton, they return everybody and all the kills that they had from last year's team. And each conference is probably 3 or 4 teams deep that has a chance to win their league. And I'd say probably this year there's probably 10 to 15 teams in the country that have a legitimate case that they can compete for national championships. So our sport is better than ever, and this is no exception. Along with that, I think that we've gotten through a year and a half of COVID, and it's certainly not over, and we have a lot of uncertainty ahead of us in regards to that. There's already been matches canceled this weekend, so a lot to be excited for, and a lot to continue to work through and battle as we get started this weekend.
Awesome. We'll go straight to questions.
Coach, you mentioned schedule being challenging. How much do you relish the challenge?
How much what, sorry?
Do you relish the challenge? Do you look forward to being challenged and having a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, we have always scheduled tough. I mean, that's just been part of Kentucky volleyball. We've started 8-0, we've started 0-3, and everything in between. And so I think it's very important, if you want to be the best, that you have to play the best. And so, we've always tried to schedule tough. This is certainly another tough schedule, and we will find out, this weekend and next weekend, all the things we need to work on and all the things we're really good at. So, I think there's going to be some really good volleyball for our fans to see, and then also some new fans that are buying season tickets get a chance to watch high-level sport and action.
Knowing the schedule is what it is, how much can you appreciate, or do you appreciate having the Z and Alli back?
Well, they give you a lot of confidence. As a staff, you have players like this that are elite athletes, but humble at the same time, and hardworking and driven, and they're never satisfied. They're always trying to seek ways to get better. And so when you have young players, the freshman and sophomore class that we have, they need role models to look up to, and these are 2 of great role models that we have in the program to set the standard and expectations.
Alli, you're ranked number 3 preseason. At this point, is that way too low for where you should be ranked?
The rankings are what they are. I think we kind of just try not to worry about stuff like that. I think that, at the end of the day, that kind of, I think, puts a little bit of fuel in our fire. Personally, coming off of a fantastic season, just wanting to prove that we can get back to that spot and we can, do exactly what we did last year and be really successful. So just really focusing on us, not worrying about numbers, anything other people, broadcasters, whatever have to say, but just being Kentucky volleyball and knowing that we can continually get better every day, control what we can control, and that's good enough for Kentucky volleyball.
In fairness, I kind of felt, considering the losses you had, maybe in the preseason, I'm able to scan down through there a while to find the name Kentucky. It surprised me you were up that high, but obviously it didn't surprise you.
Yeah, no, I think obviously the team we had last year, very successful. And then just all the recruits that came in, I knew, even just from the summer, watching us all get together, that yes, we lost people and pieces to our puzzle, but that wasn't going to hurt us. I know that the freshmen coming in, workouts, and whether it's team bonding or whatever, like they're 100% bought into this program. So yes, we lost them, but we also gained some fantastic pieces. So that's really awesome and encouraging. From day one, I saw that this team was going to be really successful. So now just figuring out the chemistry, who works well together, all those things. But yeah, it'll be a great season for sure.
Alli, last couple weeks ago, you mentioned that you and the other upperclassmen needed to be the Gabby Curry, and Madison Lily of this year's team. Given that you have twice as many underclassmen as upperclassmen on this year's team, how has being a leader or stepping into that role challenged you so far?
Great question. Yeah, I think each year, should be every player's goal is to kind of adapt and fill new shoes and fill in for different leadership positions that you've lost. And so I definitely knew coming this year that there were going to be shoes to fill, but just realizing that I'm still Alli Stumler and I can't be more than that. And so I'm not going to try to be a Gabby Curry or a Madison. Yes, they were fantastic leaders and I learned so much from both of them, all four of the seniors, but just keep being myself and know that that is good enough in how I lead. And yes, I'm going to amp it up a notch and know that that will only help the team, but just reminding myself that who I am is good enough and that's how I can affect Kentucky volleyball the best.
Zeke, how much are you looking forward to getting back on the court and getting going?
I'm so excited. It feels like it's been like 8 months since we last played. It's been probably 4 or 5. But it's a quick turnaround, and I know we're all really excited. We worked really hard this summer. We got in the gym. We were out on the field every morning. So I think we're all ready to see what we have and put it together for the first time. So compete. That's why we come here and compete at that level. So I know we're all really excited to do that for the first time.
You had an exhibition against Western. What did you take away from that that'll help you get started for this season?
I think just realizing how much we have to work on and how much we have to improve. Really, we're going to be so much better a month from now, 2 months from now than we are going to be tomorrow. So just seeing how far we have to go and really getting everyone out there and seeing what everyone brings to the table because we're going to have a lot of really good pieces.
How does your role change on this team, do you think?
Like Alli said, every team is different. We're not going to be able to replicate Madison or Gabby or Kendall and Avery. So just really being myself and Alli being herself and bringing what we can bring to the table. But I definitely take on a new leadership role this year than I was last year. So just filling that role and being as best as I can be.
Both of you guys are the face of the program now. Do you get recognized when you're walking out on the street now?
People love that question. They do. I think, anytime you wear a Kentucky volleyball shirt, everyone's going to recognize and, maybe not our faces in particular, but just the program and the name of UK volleyball. People, and I think all my classes, if I wear a shirt, they're like, oh my gosh, are you on the team? Were you there last year? And, everyone just loves it. And that's awesome. We've worked really hard in the years past, the coaching staff, everyone works really hard to, make this name known, the UK volleyball program, all of Kentucky athletics, SEC, women's sports, all those things. So to actually be recognized for something that we did spectacular last year is just, it's awesome to finally be here and just be kind of a small piece of it.
Alli, it's no secret that you are passionate about the game of volleyball. But also, off the court, what are some passions that you have that maybe fans don't know about?
I think there's a lot. I think giving back is number one. That's something that I really try to make a priority. Even, obviously being here at Kentucky, volleyball and athletics, that's what we came here for. And so those are two things that really take up a lot of time. But, in time off, I think giving back to the community, even more so now than ever before. Like we just talked about, UK volleyball is known. UK athletics are known around the state, around the country. So how can we represent that the best? So I love to give back in whatever way, whether that's community service, at home, church, whatever. And I think just, being outside, I love hiking, doing all that stuff, being on the lake, just enjoying nature. I think it's just a good way for me to kind of release whatever in the mind and just enjoy what we have.
Alli likes to shop too.
Oh, stop it. Stop it, see? Maybe just a little.
What's been that off-season rest, reflection, just after an incredible year? What did you spend the most time doing besides training for this season?
I think just spending time with family and friends. Cliche answer, I know, but we didn't get to do that a lot last year. We had to, be cognizant of who we were around, where they have been, all those things, because we wanted to put ourselves in the best position possible to win a national championship. And so we couldn't enjoy those things. Spring is our off time, so we have weekends free typically, so we can travel, go see family, do the things that when your time's taken up in the fall, you can't do. And that was filled with more games and tournaments and practices, which is awesome. We're super blessed to do that. So I think, the 2 months we had off in the summer, I was just with family, enjoying those times, just rest, recovery, keeping strength, all those things.
This question for Coach Zeke. You guys now have a target on your back. How much do you or do you not appreciate having that target on your backside?
Certainly better than the alternative. We put ourselves in position to for teams to come after us and compete against us, and that's the way we were when we were last in the SEC, you know, prior to 05. We wanted to challenge those teams who are at the top, and you know, we maybe overuse this in our line in our program, but pressure's a privilege, and we get the opportunity to have the target on our back, and so it's motivating. You know, we always say we're chasing somebody, and someone's always chasing us, so we can't ever be satisfied, and this is, you know, another one of those opportunities.
I think it's really cool that now more than ever we're gonna get everyone's best every night. We're never gonna have a night off, and like I said earlier, that's why you come to a place like this to compete at that level every night. So it's better than the ladder, like Craig said. We're looking forward to it. Every night we're gonna get everyone's 110%. So it's gonna be fun to compete at that level.
Craig, last week you lamented about the lack of preparation time for opening day. We're a week further down. Do you feel better or worse? I mean, it looks like your players are all ready to go. What is it about the coach that makes you think they are never ready?
Well, I feel the same way about going into tomorrow's match as I do every year. Are we ready? Is, you know, Dayton and Texas State are really good, so, you know, what challenges they present, and can we live up to those expectations, all those things. And, you know, I think that we've worked as hard as anyone. There's no one that has trained harder. Are we further along than we were before Western Kentucky? For sure. We've gotten roles a little bit more identified and still sorting through some of that, but we feel better about it. Some of the, you know, challenges are, you know, our coaches were out a little bit with COVID, and so we a little shorthanded that way the last couple weeks, and had an injury. Jordan Williams unfortunately tore her Achilles, so she's out for the season. You know, so there's a lot of things that go into this that, you know, when those things happen, everyone has to put in a little bit more, 1% more, 2% more the next day. And you know, the last 2 days of practice, I think we walked away thinking, okay, we got a great direction. Let's build on this. Let's see where it is Friday, and then go from there.
You mentioned the COVID. You put out a video kind of in support of the vaccinations. Are you a little bit surprised how the athletic program hasn't pushed that more? I mean, it seems like you're kind of the only one that I've seen that has done that.
Well, I mean, there's research out there that the vaccines are as safe as any vaccine that's ever been produced, and so, you know, it's our choice to do it. And but at the same time, you know, these guys are adults, and athletes are adults, and they need to make decisions for themselves. I don't want to force anybody to do anything. You know, and we've been fortunate as, you know, world to get through a lot of pandemics and things, and so this is one I think we can keep pushing through. And you know, I want our players to make good decisions, and I want them to make decisions for themselves, but I want us to have all the information at the same time.
Is the team fully vaccinated?
No.
An easier question for you. Who's going to be your starting libero?
Tomorrow starting libero will be Rye Walker.
What has she done that got her to that point for you at this stage?
Raya is a very naturally gifted passer, serve receiver. She, you know, probably has some things to continue to work on fundamentally in serve receive, but she has passing is probably the most difficult skill in volleyball outside of blocking. And so when you have a natural feel for the ball and putting it to the setter's hands, gives you an advantage. Raya's also very long. She can cover ground. You know, she can make plays. Defensively, she's a calming influence out there next to people. So those are the reasons. And, you know, along with that, I mean, that position group is probably the best we've ever had here at Kentucky. You know, Lauren Tharp obviously has won a lot of matches for us. Eleanor Bevan and Maddie Brezowitz bring a lot to the table. Again, it's going to be very difficult for teams to put the ball away against us.
So Lauren's role will be basically like last year?
She's going to start in the same position she did last year, going in for a right side player, Reagan Rutherford. But, you know, it's always a competition, and, you know, I'm encouraging Lauren and, you know, to compete for the libero job. You know, I want all of our players to not feel completely comfortable that they're where they are, that they've arrived. So Raya's going to start for us, and we'll go from there.
Coach, of the new members on the team, who has really stood out to you this offseason, come in and contribute right away?
To be honest with you, I don't want to co-speak, but they all have done a really good job of standing out. You know, unfortunately, Jordan Williams is out now, but she had a really impressive first, 10 days of preseason. Eleanor Bevan's going to be playing a lot for us. Emma Groen will start for us at setter tomorrow. Erin Lamb, outside hitter, has done things that we, as coaches, didn't think she could do this early in her career. So that class is as good as advertised, and the nice thing about that class is they just have an enormous amount of room to improve too, so they're nowhere near their potential, but all 4 of them will help us this year.
All 3 of you guys, as like the the head leaders of the team, last year was such a long year, and you won the championships, so it extended it. How are you going to prevent burnout as this season goes along? Knowing that you had a whole season basically in the spring.
Well, I'll let these guys answer in a second. We did give the captains, we gave them a get-out-of-jail-free card like Monopoly. If they decide that they need a day off, then they get to use that get-out-of-jail card. So that'll be one way we keep the freshness going. But we definitely have to be conscious of that. I think every program in the country has to be cognizant of that. We practiced yesterday morning. We'll have about 36 hours off before we get on the court tonight, just a light serve and pass. But we'll definitely have weeks where we need to take a couple days off.
And I think, I read a quote, I don't know exactly what it said, but along the lines of, burnout doesn't happen from doing something too much, it's the lack of recovery. And so I think that's not just like, oh, I'm gonna get in and foam roll and stretch. Like, yes, those are awesome parts of recovery, but it's also getting away mentally. So, for me, maybe that's going on a hike, or maybe it's going shopping with Z, or, whatever it is, like doing things that you enjoy. There's a lot of hours in the day, and volleyball, school, those things take up a lot of it, but you can always find maybe 30 minutes, an hour to get away. Craig always encourages us to get 30 minutes of no input, so whether that's going on a walk, just sitting in silence, whatever that is, just taking time, to recoup, recover, and kind of refresh. So to me, that's the biggest part.
Just like Alli said, I think the biggest part is just having no input, having those days that we have off and really taking that time to recover and do things that we like to do that are outside of the sport. But with that, Craig and the rest of the staff are really good about being cognizant about how our bodies feel, and after a long weekend, giving us that next day off. So just really taking advantage of those days, stretching, recovering, rolling, drinking our liquid gold, as like Craig likes to call it, drinking lots of water. So burnout's also a thing, like, doesn't happen as much when you love the sport like we do. So I'm excited. I think I'm going to be excited the whole 4 or 5 months that we have, so I'm excited.
Craig, that sophomore class, the number 1 recruited class in the nation when it got here. We talked a lot about the freshmen coming in, but what about these people, mentioned Ryan, but what about that class in general? What are you expecting from them this year now?
We'll have a chance to produce a lot of points for us. I mean, Raya being the starting libero tomorrow is part of that class. She's going to impact our game on serve, receive, and defense. Reagan Rutherford and Maddie Skinner will be starting for us tomorrow, and they have a chance to score a lot of points, both attacking and blocking. Lise Getzinger started for us most of the year last year, and she's improved from last year's team. Sophie Fisher, maybe the most versatile of all of them. We've had a couple injuries in preseason, and she moved to the middle and did a phenomenal job. The last few days of practice. So that class will impact Kentucky volleyball this year and for years to come for sure.
Coach, everybody recruits to improve. Talk about some of the teams in the conference and what they've done and how impressed you are by what they've done in recruiting and what you may look forward to from them as an opponent.
Well, our league is going to be as strong as ever. Really, I think our coaching staff in our league has grown a lot in the last year. I think we're both encouraging all of us to continue to improve. We want to be the best league in the country. But Florida returns everybody. LSU has gained a lot in the transfer situation, getting Kylie Bird from Missouri that adds a lot of kills to their program. Arkansas returns pretty much everybody in their lineup. I think they do. Georgia has almost the majority of their lineup back. Alabama's going to be much improved. I'm going to miss it. Tennessee was super athletic last year and was really coming on late last year. They have everybody back from last year, and I probably missed someone, but every night out it's going to be a battle in the league, and it's pretty cool to see actually some of the ways our programs and teams in the league are stepping up.
Time for 2 or 3 more.
I know if I had won a national championship, my head would be this big. And Alli, I know you're confident. Craig, you never say anything confident about the team. Azhani, how do you balance?
Man, I've known you for a long time now.
Azhani,
That's right.
how do you balance perhaps being a little bit too overconfident with making sure that everybody out there knows that you're a national champion?
I think we've just really let everyone on the team know this is a new season, it's a new team. I always talked about a puzzle, and this is a new puzzle. So it happened, and we love the time that we spent celebrating that, and we may still be celebrating that, but it's time to kind of start looking to this new season. And we're all very confident, but realizing that nothing's given to us. We don't deserve to win just because we won last year, deserve to win because we're Kentucky. So we're not gonna have to go out there and fight, but we're all very confident in what we can do and each other.
Last one.
I know you don't like to look ahead, but I do. And so a week.
You probably already know the answers.
Yeah, but a week from tomorrow night, you're gonna drop that banner down. I'll admit, I never thought that'd be something I'd ever see in my lifetime. So how cool, emotional, whatever words you want to use, is that gonna be for you, knowing what this program was that you got here, what you brought it to see a national championship man?
Yeah, Larry, it's a dream. It was a dream come true. And, this is a place where dreams can become reality. It was a hell of a lot of work for a lot of people and coaches and players that came before us. And for us to be able to hang that banner for the university is very special. And we'll never take it for granted. And we're not going to shy away from celebrating the national championship with this current team. We know the 21 team has their own identity to create, but we're going to be proud of that result and proud of representing the university. And that's another way that we can give to the university and say that we're going to do everything we can to do it again.
In a word, what would you say the identity of this team is? If you had to choose one word. Tenacious, fierce.
Relentless. I mean, this group is probably going to be one of the best floor defensive teams that Kentucky's ever had. I don't know how to put that into one word. You guys have a word for me?
We just kind of talked about this, but I don't know.
I mean, you're going to see some plays defensively, I think, that you haven't seen a Kentucky volleyball team make in a while. So it's going to be pretty cool to see.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for coming. We appreciate it very much.